Maddox is suing her ex-boyfriend, Charles Darnell, for the return of Christmas gifts she left in his home. Charles says the gifts went missing.
Ms. Maddox, according to your complaint, you dated the defendant for many months. And the beginning of December of last year, you went Christmas shopping together. You purchased some items, some of which you left at his house. Those items that you left in his house, according to you, were Christmas presents for your grandchildren.
Yes.
And some other items. Sometime in mid-December, you broke up, and you claim that Mr. Darnell refuses to give you back the property that you left at his house. Mr. Darnell says that he has none of your property, that you must have come to the house to get it because you had a key to the house, and after you broke up, you came home, found your stuff gone. So he assumes that you took the Christmas presents, and that one of the items that you're suing for is a welder.
Yes.
And the welder, he says, was a gift to him from you.
No.
So let's start with the welder, so that would make things easy. When, Mr. Darnell, did you get the welder?
Sunday, December 3rd.
Now, was that a Christmas present?
Yes, it was.
Okay, tell me the circumstances surrounding that, Mr. Darnell.
We had went Christmas shopping. I had previously, on November 24th, I had paid to have a remote starting system put on her car for her Christmas present, and this was in return for my Christmas present.
So you had a remote put in her car. How much was that?
$187.20.
And how much was the welder?
I don't remember the exacts, but I would say the welder was in the $120 range, plus there was some accessories bought with it.
$178.75, Your Honor.
Now, tell me about this remote starter that he put in your car in November.
I asked for a Christmas gift of the remote start for my car.
And he put that in?
He did.
So he put that in as a Christmas present to you?
Yes.
And you bought this welder as a Christmas present for him?
No, I bought the welder as a Christmas gift for my son.
I don't believe you.
My son requested it.
Mr. Darnell, when she gave you the welder, what did she say?
Merry Christmas.
That's... Your Honor, that's not true.
Was it unwrapped?
It had never been wrapped.
Okay, let's leave out the welder for a moment, Miss Maddox. Let me hear about the Christmas presents.
On November 4th is when I actually started my Christmas shopping, and we had went to Sam's Club together, and for my two grandchildren, I had bought two TJ Berry Tales. They're animated learning teddy bears. The teddy bears actually read to my grandchildren. I purchased them for $128.10.
Why did you leave it at his house?
Because the animated teddy bears, some of the stuff was electrical, and I didn't want to leave it out in my vehicle overnight.
Okay, I see. Now, all the stuff that you purchased, that you left at his house, comes to how much, exclusive of the welder?
$479.30, or 38 cents, excuse me.
On what date did you break up?
December 9th.
According to your complaint, you tried to work things out on December 17th.
I had called and left a message on December 16th to talk to him.
Mr. Darnell.
I returned the phone call. She was argumentative, and I just didn't feel that I wanted to contend with it at that time.
Or at all?
Or at all.
So you didn't see her on December 17th?
No.
What happened on December 9th, sir?
We was supposed to go to her job Christmas party that evening, which I had already been to my business and taken care of stuff, and I got a call back that I had to go back due to an equipment problem. I tried to get a hold of her for over an hour, and she couldn't be gotten a hold of, and I finally did get a hold of her and told her that I couldn't go to the Christmas party, and she become upset about it. So I just finally told her that I think we needed to part company.
Okay. Now, at that time, these Christmas presents were at your house.
Yes, they were.
Where were they in the house?
They were in the living room.
And when did you find them missing, sir?
December the 18th.
Tell me about that.
I got home from work at approximately 4 p.m. and I noticed the stuff was gone, and there was a few of her personal effects that was gone out of the bathroom. And
what kind of personal items were in the bathroom?
Basically just cosmetic stuff.
And that was gone?
Yes.
Other than that, did she have anything else in your home?
No.
No clothes?
No.
So just the Christmas presents and some items in the bathroom?
Correct.
And that was gone? And when for the first time, Mr. Darnell, did Ms. Maddox call you and say she wanted these Christmas presents?
On Thursday, December 21st.
Where did she reach you?
She called me on my cell phone.
And what did she say to you?
That she wanted her belongings back, and I asked her how I can give something back that I don't have.
And what did she say?
She said I was a liar. So the next thing I know, she was at my house with a Muskingum County deputy. She tried to make the deputy let her into my home, and I wouldn't let her in the home. And then he asked me about the welder. I said, yes, I do have the welder, but it was given to me as a gift. And he basically told her that was the end of it because it was given to me as a gift.
You have the police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to take a look at it, please.
It's not actually a report. It's a log where they showed up.
When you called the police, Miss Maddox, to accompany you, what did you tell them?
I told them that I saw him loading things into his car, and I needed assistance to make sure that he didn't take off with the teddy bears. I thought it was the TJ Berry Tales.
When did you see him putting things in the back of his car?
On the 21st of December. I had called him, left him a message. He called me back, told me I would never get my belongings back. I had 3 CDs in my car. I didn't want it.
That was on the 21st?
This is on the 21st. So I went to his house anyway. I handed him the CDs because I didn't want them. I said, could I please get my stuff? And he said, you'll never get your stuff. So I left. I went to some pawn shops. Hope maybe he had sold them. I could maybe buy them back for my Christmas presents. And they wasn't at the pawn shops. So there's a school behind his house. And for some reason, I pulled behind there and I saw him loading 2 boxes into the back of his car. And I thought they were TJ teddy bears. I really wanted them for my grandchildren. So I called the deputies to help me get them.
Did they look in his car?
No. They said it was property. That's why they didn't. Because at that point on me, I did not have the receipts.
I have to make a judgment as to whether or not you're telling me the truth. What do you think I'm going to decide?
You'll probably rule in her favor.
I will. Do you know why?
Why?
Because she's telling me the truth. That's why. Because I've been in this business for 40 years. And that's why I can tell who's telling the truth and I can tell who's lying. And there isn't a question in my mind that this lady would not have come to court today unless she felt as if you did the wrong thing by keeping her grandchildren. It may have been other things, you know. There were other things other than gifts for her grandchildren. Maybe she would have let it slide. But it really irritated her that because you broke up in a way that was unpleasant, you took her property, which I believe, I don't know what you did with it. You sold it. You have grandchildren. Maybe you gave it to your grandchildren. Maybe you gave it to your friend's grandchildren. Maybe someplace. Maybe you donated it to children. Who knows what you did with it? But there is no question in my mind that you had her property. The welder is yours, Mr. Darnell. I honestly believe you when you said to me that she gave you that as a quid pro quo for putting the starter in her car. And it was an early Christmas present, but not the toys. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $479. That's
18-year-old Monica Vasquez claims ex-boyfriend Lendon Trujillo owes for kicking her car and smashing it with trash cans. Monica also claims Lendon destroyed her cell phone.
You are?
Lydia Calderon, Monica's mother.
Okay, but you don't know anything about this case particularly, do you?
No.
Except that the car belonged to you.
Belongs to both of us.
Are you both on the title?
Yes.
Why don't you sit down for a moment? You're Monica?
Yes.
This was your boyfriend?
Yes.
How long was he your boyfriend?
For about 3 years.
Monica, you say that he broke your cell phone and vandalized your car.
Yes.
He says he didn't do it. So tell me when he vandalized your car.
It was like about 1:30, and he showed up at my house.
1:30
in the
on what
morning.
On what date?
July 28th.
Where were you?
I was at home.
Who else was at home?
My sister.
It was 1:30 a.m. Do you live with your sister?
Yes, I do.
What does your sister do for a living?
She works at Premier Real Estate. She's
And
a
what do you do?
receptionist.
What do you do?
I'm a cashier
Where?
at Rite Aid.
How long have you been working there?
In October, it'll be a year.
Mr. Trujillo,
Yes.
what do you do for a living, sir?
I'm a tattoo artist.
You work for yourself?
Yeah, pretty much.
What does that mean?
I'm not working at a shop right now.
So where do you work from?
Out of my house.
Are you licensed?
No.
Do you have to be licensed where you live?
No.
Where do you live?
I live in California.
And in California, you don't need a license to give somebody a tattoo with
No,
a
you
needle?
don't.
That's a big mistake, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, you need a license to give somebody a pedicure,
Yeah.
but not to give somebody a tattoo.
No.
You
Not.
sure about that?
I'm positive about that.
Anyway, do you make a living at this?
Yeah.
Well, especially since you have no overhead.
What's that? No. What? No. What? No.
Overhead.
Overhead. Oh, okay. Yeah, that was over my head. Sorry.
Unfortunately, Mr. Trujillo, that was true.
Right. Sorry about that.
All right, Miss Vasquez, why don't you tell me about what happened on the 28th of July?
Okay, he showed up at my house, and he knocked on my window. I came out of my room, and I went to the garage, because he went around the house. And I had told him to leave because my sister did not want him around her house.
Why did he come there?
He was,
He said you called him.
No, I did not call him.
You say in your papers, sir, that you went over to the house at 1:30 on July 28th because she called you.
Yeah, we had been talking.
No. Because she called you on July 28th. That's
Okay.
why you said you went over there, right?
Right.
And how did she call you? On your cell phone?
Yeah.
Do you have your cell phone records?
No. I'm sure if I went and got them, I could bring them back to you. I mean, if you wanted to, you know, another
We
day or
don't do
something.
do-overs here, Mr. Trujillo. What we do is, when you're coming to court, you're supposed to be prepared. You know what it's like, Mr. Trujillo? You do tattooing
Yeah,
in your house.
right.
Let's say you made an appointment with somebody who's going to get a really big tattoo. They were going to pay a whole lot of money
Yeah,
for the tattoo. And let's say they arrived and they sat down for you to do the tattoo and you forgot to buy ink.
right. Yeah, it's happened a couple times.
That's what it's like, Mr. Trujillo, when you come here without evidence.
Yeah, I understand.
With just your good looks and tattoo. That's what happens. You're supposed to bring evidence, bring proof. So we have no proof that she called you to arrive at her house
Right,
at
right.
1:30 in the morning.
Yeah.
And so you went outside and you told him to disappear.
Yes.
And what happened?
And by that time, my sister had came out because she heard the knock because our rooms are right next door. And she had went out and told him to leave her house because she was going to call the
The police.
because the incident with the phone.
Oh, so the incident with the phone happened first.
Yes.
And that happened about a month before?
Yes.
Why don't you tell me what happened?
Okay, I was at work and I get out of work at 10 and he showed up at my work. So I left.
Had you not been seeing each other?
No.
Go ahead.
And I left my work and he followed me down the street and he was telling me to pull over and he was next to me in my car. And so I pulled over because he was coming closer to my car and he had said that if I didn't pull over he would go to my house and like break windows. And so I pulled over and he had got my phone to check it for what, I don't know, we weren't together. And I was telling him to give me back my phone and he was like, "You want your phone?" So he cracked it in half and gave it to me. And so,
Had he been drinking?
yes, he had a beer in his car.
Who else was in the car?
He was by himself that night.
You got to get a job out of the house, Mr. Trujillo.
Okay.
Listen to me, sir. First, I want you to tell me who these people are that you brought with you to court today.
I brought my dad to court with me today and my brother Fabian. This is my dad, Johnny, and Fabian and Silo.
Yeah, and you all live together?
No,
Do you live alone?
no, I live with my uncle
Why?
because my dad has recently moved and he had moved in with someone else and there wasn't enough room, so I actually went to live with my uncle,
And where does your brother live?
with his grandpa.
How old are you?
I'm 18,
How old's your brother?
19.
Who did your father move in with?
His girlfriend,
Was there a time you were all living together?
at one time, yeah.
When was the last time you lived together with your father?
About 2 months ago, I lived with my dad in Visalia.
And your brother also lived with your father?
No, my brother has always lived with his grandpa in Tulare.
Did you break her phone?
No, ma'am, I didn't.
Well, tell me what happened, Mr. Trujillo.
Me and Monica had been seeing each other before this incident with the cell phone happened. We had been talking and we had been texting each other, and she had told me that she got out of work at 10 o'clock and that if I wanted to see her after work. And I said, okay, cool. I had the car, so I said, okay, I'll meet you at Taco Bell. So we went and we met at Taco Bell parking lot, and we were there. Everything was fine. We were talking, hugging, everything was cool. And then a call comes through on my phone. And when a call comes through on my phone, it was a ringtone, as you know, the ringtones, like I know you've heard them, like the lovey-dovey ringtones, like the, you know what I mean, like the guy and girl together ringtones. You know what I'm talking about or no? Like, I mean, I could sing one.
Special song or something.
Like, I mean, I could sing one for you, if you want me to sing one. No, I'm just kidding. Anyways, at the time when that had happened, we were both kind of looking at each other because I was already like, okay, you know, something's wrong, I messed up. So Monica had,
Yeah.
yeah, so at that time, Monica had snatched my phone out of my hand. And when that had happened, she snatched my phone and I reached for it back. We kind of got into an argument, a little conflict, you know what I mean? And
Who was calling you, Mr. Trujillo?
just a friend.
Boyfriend or a girlfriend?
It was a girlfriend.
The timing was really terrible.
Yeah, it wasn't
It
expected.
was messed up.
Yeah, it was at the right time. So when that had happened, I was leaning up against my car, and Monica had thrown my phone at me. Well, when she had thrown my phone at me, somehow, and you can tell she has little hands. I don't know how she had both phones in her hand, but when she had thrown it at me, my phone rolled over the car, the hood of the car, and her phone hit my car and broke. However it broke, it was snapped in half, and that's basically what happened.
When he met you at Taco Bell, Had you told him that you were going to be out of work at 10 o'clock?
No, he called my work around 10 and he said, I was around the corner. He goes, I'll be there right now. And I was like, I'm going home, I'm leaving. And at that point, my boss had opened the doors to let me leave earlier than everybody else because I had told him. And when I got in my car to leave, he was already at the corner, and that's when he just followed me.
Do you think if I called her boss would say that they opened the door and let her out a little early?
No, I don't.
You don't think so?
No, I don't.
What's your boss's name?
David Centeno.
Give me his number.
It's my phone, and my phone is out there.
The Rite Aid number, 67816. There you go.
7816. Now, Mr. Trujillo,
Yes, ma'am.
I want you to listen to me very carefully.
Okay.
When somebody tells me
Uh-huh.
I tend to disbelieve everything that they say, especially when I have to get my rather sizable keister off this chair and go in the back to make a telephone call. Do you understand?
Oh, yes.
Now, I am prepared to do that.
Okay.
Unless you want to revise your version of the cell phone events.
No, ma'am. No, not at all.
Okay, so let's call Mr. David, because he doesn't have any clue that I might be calling him. He is going to tell me whether or not he let her out early because you were going to come over.
Right.
Okay. Let's see.
Okay.
Yes, is David Santano there, please? David, this is Judge Judy Scheindlin. How are you? Good, thank you. David, I have a question for you. I'm here trying a case with Monica Vasquez. And I want you to think back to sometime around the end of June of this year, in the evening when she was leaving. There was an incident with her boyfriend when he called the store. Do you remember that? Could you tell me what happened, please, David? Mm-hmm. Okay. Wonderful. David, you're a very, very nice man for speaking to me. I appreciate you taking the time. Thank you. Bye-bye. And a little more time honing your truthful skills, sir. Honing your truthful skills. Ask your father what that means. Honing your truthful skills, sir.
Oh, okay.
Because Mr. Santano says that he remembers the evening very well. You would call the store. You said, I'm going to get down there before the store closes. They let her leave early, and they stood there to watch her get in her car and take off before you got there because she had already broken up with you, and she was afraid about what was going to happen if you got there.
Okay.
Okay?
Okay.
So now I believe very little, sir, of what you're going to tell me. So now he owes you a cell phone. Now I want you to tell me what happened when he vandalized your car.
Okay, that was the night he showed up at my window.
That's correct.
Okay.
And you came out, you told him to leave. Sister came out, and you told him to leave. And I understand that there were other people with him.
His father and his brother.
Two geniuses.
Yes. And they were all drinking.
Two geniuses. Well, they can't live together, so at least they can drink together. I guess that's what family's all about. Go ahead.
And my sister had told his dad to keep him away from her house. And his dad didn't really understand what was happening because Lyndon didn't let him know about the night with the cell phone. So he didn't understand why my sister was...
I think if there wasn't a cell phone, his father wouldn't have understood. Go ahead.
So after that, my sister had told him she was going to call the cops and get a restraining order on him. And at that time, Lyndon was mad because his dad had told me, well, then I don't want her calling him or at my house. And I had said, I haven't called your son and I haven't been to your house. And at that time, Lyndon had got mad and they were drinking. So he kind of like pushed my sister. And at that time, when he got angry, my sister ran to the house to call the cops. And at that time, I had ran back to the house too because he was still mad. and he followed me to the garage door on the side of the house. And when I closed the door and locked it, I could feel him trying to open it. He just went to the front of the garage where my car was parked, and I heard a loud noise. And at that time, I had lifted the garage door up because my sister had came out, and we seen him leave the side of my car and get into his dad's car, and the two trash cans were against my car, laying against my car.
You have pictures of
Yes,
the
I
car?
do.
I'd like to take a look at them. Outrageous. When did you purchase this car?
Last year in November,
Bought it yourself?
my mom helped me.
Who pays for it?
I do.
Paid the insurance too?
Mm-hmm.
Stand up next to him. You came here, you might as well stand up here.
Monica Vasquez says ex-boyfriend Lendon Trujillo owes for vandalizing her car and for destroying her cell phone.
What were you doing out with your son at 1:30 in the morning?
We had went to the club,
What club?
El Presidente,
What were you doing at the club?
dancing.
And drinking?
I was, yes.
With whom?
females,
All different kinds?
pretty much, yeah.
So if you were dancing and drinking with a whole bunch of females, you weren't watching what your two sons were doing.
Actually, he was on his cell phone the whole time we were there, text messaging and back and forth. And I went to him and asked him, "Who you texting?" And he said, "Monica." So
And that's what he said to you.
yeah,
That's what he said to you, but you don't know that that's true.
no, but
If I may, Your Honor,
Yeah.
the day before the cell phone incident had occurred,
Yeah.
she came to my house, and my dad was coming up from work, and she was coming downstairs. I was walking her down to her car. And that's why I don't understand really how it could go from her being upstairs in my house and me and her being together in a relationship or working things out, and then to...
Well, were you working things out, or were you in a relationship, sir?
No, we're working things out to be in a relationship.
So what did you go there at 1:30 in the morning for?
Because we had been texting each other. We had been texting and talking to each other, and...
Did she invite you there?
Yeah, I had her on speakerphone
Yeah.
because I was the designated driver.
yeah. She had told him
Yeah, she was in the
that
car. She knew
she
that
had
the
told
speakerphone
him
wasn't on.
that her sister was asleep, the kids were gone, for him to go over there and visit, to see her.
And what were you going to do?
I just sat in the car because I was drinking.
And what about him?
He was in the back seat.
So the two of you were just going to sit there in the back seat of the car,
Well,
in the
actually,
front seat
yeah.
of the car, while he went inside to visit with his girlfriend?
They didn't go inside. They stayed outside in the driveway.
Fine. So he goes over to see Monica, and how did her car get dented?
When we got there, Monica had stepped outside. She was walking towards her car. We pulled up, and she went like this, like waved us over there. We all three got out of the car, walked over. She showed us a dent on her car and said that she had got into an accident with a motorcyclist. And me and her made a few comments back and forth because I had just recently wrecked my Harley. And I had told her, you know, so anyways, we said a few statements back and forth. And then me and Fabian went back and got back in the car. They stayed there talking, hugging, kissing until Marie came outside. And Monica flipped the whole script when Marie came outside because she was
Were
upset.
you at his house the day before?
No, I was not.
Yeah, you was.
No, I was not.
Yeah, you was.
No, I was not.
When you send a text message, could you save those things?
They stay for 14 days.
Huh?
You can lock
can
them.
save them, right?
Yes, you can.
Show me.
Your Honor, I don't have my phone with me. I don't have any proof right now, Your Honor, so
Well,
it's...
Why don't you, sir?
Because I came unprepared. I came on intentions of knowing that what I know is true.
Is everything that you said just now as truthful as you went over to the store the end of June, invited by her to come over to the store?
What, to her store, Rite Aid?
Yeah.
No, I didn't go to Rite Aid.
Oh,
I didn't.
no.
No, I said I went to Taco Bell. I drove to Taco Bell. She was at Rite Aid when we had talked on her.
Why would you think, Mr. Trujillo, that she would say to her boss, concerned, I just want to get out of here before he comes over? And the boss distinctly remembers all the employees watching her get into the car to make sure she was safe and leave.
But I wasn't in her parking lot, though.
I don't care whether you were in a parking lot or not, sir. Why
I
do you
thought
think
that-
the boss would remember that?
Oh, yeah, no, boss, no. I'm not saying that. She got in her car, but I'm saying what I'm trying to tell you, though, is that I did not go into her parking lot.
No, what you said, Mr. Trujillo, was that you had an appointment to meet in Taco Bell.
Yeah.
And that, sir, is a lie. That, sir, is a lie.
That we met in Taco Bell?
It is a lie that you had an appointment to meet at Taco Bell, because when she heard from you, she asked her boss if she could take off because she was concerned about her safety. They all watched her leave.
Then why would she have pulled into Taco Bell if she knew that she could have got away from me?
I don't know what you were doing, sir. And I don't know what your drunken father was doing or your drunken brother was doing on the night this happened with the car. I have no clue. All I know is, sir, you lied to me once, and you also don't know the law in the jurisdiction where you live because you require to have a license to tattoo. Sir.
Okay.
And what is your address?
My address right now?
Where you're doing the tattooing?
In a house. On
What is the address?
I don't know my address. I just know it's on Bradley Street. I've only been there like a month, 2 months, so I don't know the address. I don't get mail there.
Did you make more than 3 children or just 3?
Only 3.
Only 3. So far you got 2 losers, right? 1,
I don't consider
2.
them losers, but
Well, so far they haven't done anything to make you proud.
sure they have.
I don't see
I
it.
graduated high school. That made me proud.
Oh, my God. My God, that's like the 8th wonder of the world.
That's an accomplishment in this family.
That's right.
I'm sorry.
You got to do something with it once you graduate from high school.
Yes, I totally agree.
So pleased that you agree with
I
me.
am.
I've been looking forward all year for a person of your stature to agree with me. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $950. That's all.
Her daughter, Tamara Vaughn, had her falsely arrested for assault and stole property from her home. Tamara is countersuing for the assault in question.
Miss Radcliffe, the defendant is your daughter.
Yes.
She's 32 years old, and she's one of how many children?
8,
How many of the 8 children still live at home?
4,
How old are they?
18, 16, 13, and 10.
Are you a working lady?
Yes, I am.
What kind of work do you do?
I'm a nurse.
Your complaint alleges that your daughter moved back home because she was having some financial problems. And she moved back home with her daughter, who was how old?
15.
It's your claim that that did not work out very
No.
well, and that your daughter had you falsely arrested for assault. In addition, while you were in jail on her assault complaint, which was ultimately dismissed due to her non-appearance, she stole some property from your home.
Yes.
You want to be compensated for the false arrest as well as for the property that you claim she took from the house. Your daughter says she did not take any property from your house, that you did in fact assault her, that property was taken from her, and she's counterclaiming. Now, when did your daughter move back home?
Sometime in November.
Do you remember?
Sometime in November, towards the end of November.
Why did you move back home, Ms. Vaughn?
I was in a car accident and I injured my back.
When were you in a car accident?
August of 2006.
And?
November of 2006 is when I moved in with her.
How long did you stay?
Until September of 2007.
Yes.
She stayed until October 6th, 2007.
So you were there for almost a year,
Correct.
not working.
Correct.
Is there anything that prevented you from working
Yes.
during that year? What?
The pain in my back.
Okay, so now tell me what happened.
Well, it started with a phone call while I'm at work. She had her brother and sister arrested, said that they assaulted her.
You called the police?
Yes, I did.
When was that?
September 20th of 07.
Tell me what happened.
Rand and Torio were in the living room, acting up, wrestling, I guess. They broke the glass out of the entertainment center. I walked in, tried to ask them what was going on. They were still acting silly, so I told them, go upstairs. You know, I'm calling Mom to let her know what's going on. They started getting belligerent. They refused to go upstairs. My sister tried to leave out the front door. She said that she didn't have to listen to me. She's not going to do nothing I say. She was going to leave.
You mean this sister?
Correct.
Go ahead.
I proceeded to close the door, and I locked it, and I was standing in her way. She then smacked me in my face, and she pulled my hair. And once I got her hands off of my hair, she went to take off through the living room towards the back door. So I went to walk after her to try and stop her.
Why?
She didn't have permission. It was in the evening time. She didn't need to be outside.
Just a second. Were you left in charge of them?
Always. When my mother would go to work, I was in charge.
Is that right?
Well, I never actually said it, but she was the oldest one there.
Okay. So you told her not to leave and you locked the door.
Yes.
Okay. Go ahead.
As I proceeded to walk after her, my brother then grabbed me up around my neck and pulled me down to the ground. When I got him off of me is when I got up and I got my cell phone and I went outside to the side of the house and I called the cops.
Doesn't sound like a very good supervisor to me.
Because
okay.
the kids don't know how to act?
No. I don't understand why a 32-year-old sister in those circumstances would call the police to have her younger siblings arrested and carted off to jail, as opposed to saying, listen, I'm going to take a breather, I'm going upstairs, I'm going to go in my room, wait until my mother comes home from work, and it's my mother's problem, not mine. What? I don't see.
That's happened in the past.
Just a second. Has your mother ever called the police on your siblings?
No.
Right, because that's not what you do.
Right, because if she puts her hands on them, it's not assault. I'm not going to put myself in that situation.
What do you mean if she puts her hands on them, it's not assault? Why would she put her hands on them?
To discipline them.
Ms. Vaughn, that's not your job.
Exactly, so I didn't put my hands on them.
It's not your job to discipline them, and it certainly is ridiculous for you to call the police. What?
The police officers took pictures. There was no red marks on her.
I don't know what happened. I'm just telling you, whatever happened there, if they were fooling around, they weren't fighting with each other, they were messing around being big stupid children and broke something. What did you break?
I didn't break anything.
What did you break?
I didn't break anything.
Well, there was glass broken, I understand.
They knew nothing about the glass.
When you came home from work, was that glass broken?
Yes, it was.
Well, the glass didn't break by itself. Anyway, your sister had no reason, in my view, good reason, to call the police and have you arrested. Number one. That's what you did. So what did you do? Well, you came home, you were furious with her, and you told her she had to leave.
Yes, of course, and she wouldn't.
What did you say to her?
I was more concerned with the children and finding a placement for them so they wouldn't have to go to Columbia and spend God knows how long in a detention center. And once I found a safe placement...
Where did you find a placement?
In the neighborhood with neighbors.
Just a second. So what you're telling me is your 32-year-old daughter wouldn't leave, and you couldn't have the kids back in the house while she was there.
Right.
Why wouldn't you leave?
That's not true. That was my place of residence, and the officer
Just a second.
pressed the
It was
charges.
your place of residence because you were living there, because your mother allowed you to move back because you were not feeling well. But that's not your place of residence. That's her place of residence, and that's her minor children's place
Where
of
I was
residence.
residing.
But once she tells you to leave, you got to go. How much rent did you pay her each month that you were there? Is not an answer.
I was currently working for about 2 months after my accident when I moved in with her,
I'm
and I
not
paid
talking
her
2 months.
$400.
Okay.
After
the last
that,
9 months you were living there, how much rent did you pay her?
$100 a month.
Ridiculous.
Well,
that's not
what I
rent.
could afford.
That's not rent. That covered your food. That covered your
No,
lights.
I bought food
That
for the
covered your
house.
lights, your electricity for you and your daughter. Ridiculous. So you were not a rent-paying person there. So you were living there at your mother's will. You're not a tenant. She told you to leave. You should have left. Continue.
Well, Friday morning, they had a court date, and the judge also asked me how old she was and why wasn't she out of my home, and she won't leave my home. So I had to do an eviction. And I had papers to show that I went down and did the eviction. And I come home, I don't talk to her. My daughter witnessed her tearing something up. We had to call the police.
What date?
On the 21st.
September 21st.
Yes, ma'am.
Had she been served with the eviction paper?
Not yet.
Go ahead.
So they couldn't do anything because she was in a lawsuit with them by having them arrested. So nothing was done because she was allowed to tear things up and nobody could stop her.
That's not true.
Well, I go to work Friday night. I come home. I'm a night nurse. I get home at 6:30.
In the morning?
Yes, ma'am. Saturday morning, I walk in my home. My living room looked clean, which is very odd. The kitchen was a total disaster, so I started cleaning up my kitchen, and I read my newspaper and went to bed. I looked at my watch. It was 7:15 when I laid down. I do not know what time it was when someone banged on my door and woke me up. I mean, banged hard. So my children aren't in the house, so the only person in my mind who could do this...
Where are your other two children?
Geraldo, the 18-year-old, was there asleep, but the baby, I removed him also because I didn't want her doing anything against him.
Where did you send the baby?
He went to a neighbor's. So I have different ways because of her.
Are there all the children home now?
All of my babies are home now.
Go ahead.
So I woke up with this banging, and I get up and I sling open my bedroom door, and nobody's there. All the doors are standing open. So I look in my bathroom, no one's there, I close it. Garage door's open, I look, no one's there, I close it. I go out the back door, no one's there, I close it. Go through the front, no one's there. Where is her and my granddaughter? I did not know where they're at. So I'm yelling for them, and I'm walking down my porch, looking to the side of the house. I said, I don't know what their games they're playing, but I need to get some sleep. So I was going to go back in, but then I see spots of blood on the sidewalk at the end of my steps come down the porch. So now my heart is beating. Maybe they needed my help. So I'm looking, I'm following the blood, and I see her stooping down on a cell phone with her arm down, letting the blood flow all over the ground. So I'm yelling to her, get your arm up. What happened? Where's Sherelle? And she's acting like she's afraid of me, and she's running. So I turn around, I run back in the house, want to see where Sherelle is. I go to Geraldo's room, and I'm banging on his door. He's waking up, he's asleep. I said, well, is Sherelle in there? He said, no. I said, come on. I said, Tamara's bleeding. I said, can't find Sherelle. So I run back downstairs. I call 911. Then I run back outside because I'm going to have to stop the flow of blood somehow.
You called 911?
I called 911 to say I don't know where my granddaughter is, and I was trying to tell them real fast what happened. She's bleeding. I need to go stop the blood. So I'm back outside, and there stands my granddaughter with her. And I'm like, Sherelle, what did you do? What's going on? And she said, oh, Grandma, you know what happened. You did this. Click. After what she done to these children, I turn around and call my son. I said, Tamara is setting me up. Y'all need to get here. I'm fixing to be arrested.
Okay. What happened to the case?
It was dismissed because she didn't show up in court.
How long were you in jail?
12 hours.
How many days did the children, all 3 children, spend at neighbors' homes?
2 weeks. We were out of our home.
On what date did your daughter finally move out of your house?
She was ordered out on October the 6th at 4 o'clock, and I was ordered back into my home at 5 o'clock.
Okay, Ms. Vaughn, let me hear you.
The 21st is when she did call the cops to try and make a false police report, because after having to deal with my brother and sister the night before, my back was hurting even more. So all day long, I still had my pajamas on, my robe, my house shoes. I laid up in the recliner on my medicine all day.
What kind of medication were you taking?
Baclofen, Lyrica, and hydrocodone.
How long had you been on this cocktail?
Earlier in the year. I'm not sure exactly when.
After you moved out of your mother's house on October 6th, where did you go?
To a friend's house.
Where do you live now?
With my boyfriend.
Is this a boyfriend you had while you were living with your mother?
No.
So you found a boyfriend after you moved out?
Yes.
How long have you been living with the boyfriend?
Several months.
Where are you working?
Nowhere.
Why not?
My back is still injured.
Well, let me ask you this about the boyfriend. Do you have intimate relations with the boyfriend?
Obviously.
Back doesn't bother you?
Yes.
But you do it anyway. Is that right?
That's correct.
It's the same way you work. If your back bothers you a little bit, you get a
Sex
job.
doesn't last 8 hours.
That's not my fault. Now, listen to me. You're 32 years old. She has 3 minor children. If somebody has to leave the house, it has to be you. Whether it's your fault, whether it's the children's fault, doesn't make any difference. You're the intruder.
No.
You are not paying rent, you're not paying a
I was
mortgage, you're
paying
not paying
rent.
gas, you're not paying electric, you're not
Yes.
paying for the maintenance
I
on the
was
house. And you
contributing.
have, I'm speaking, and you have 3 siblings who are not home, who are minors because you're there, and they are into the house because you're there, so you have to move. And you chose not to do that. So now give me what happened when your mother came home in the morning that caused you to be assaulted.
She was still cussing and fussing, threatening.
Well, no, first of all, she was working.
When
So
she came home in the morning.
She came home in the morning from working. I know that that's hard.
I'm
working.
sure.
And what did she say when she came home from work?
Calling me all kind of and telling me that she's going to get me out sooner than what I can get out.
Sounds perfectly right to me. Next. So? And what did you say to her?
Nothing. I was ignoring her at first.
Well, at first. What about, let's go to at second. What did you say to her at second? At first you were ignoring.
When we were in the kitchen and she was still fussing and cussing, she had her back towards me. I was in there. I started making the coffee. I said, I don't want to hear this mess this morning. And that's when she turned around and she hit me in the head with a metal pan.
And?
My eyes went black and I leaned back up against the refrigerator. And the next thing that I know, my arm is cut and it's bleeding. I didn't see what she cut me with, but that's when I started screaming to wake my daughter up and to get the phone so we could call the cops.
You have the police report?
Yes, I do.
I'd like to see it, please. You have your police report?
No, I couldn't get one.
This is the one where I was arrested. Okay.
Miss Radcliffe, the police report indicates in sum and substance that a lot of things that you told the police officer didn't quite make sense. It did, however, say that when your daughter was in the kitchen, what she said to you was not some, just leave me alone. According to your daughter, she used some vulgarity to you and said, according to you, leave me the blank alone, is what you told the police you said to your mother. Is that right?
That's correct.
And then that's the last thing she says. She remembers that she got hit over the head with something, maybe a frying pan. While I certainly don't condone anybody using an instrumentality that was capable of causing injury to another human being, I can certainly understand the frustration of the mother of 8 children, 4 of whom are minors and who live at home, who is put in the position of having to take her minor children and pawn them off to neighbors because her 32-year-old daughter, who is probably perfectly capable of some sort of employment, has been mooching off of her for a year with her 15-year-old child on a cocktail of drugs, which is keeping her in a semi-stupor for most of the day. She was forced to move out. She moved in with a friend, and then instead of putting her life together and trying to do what was necessary to make a home for her daughter, she found some guy to support her for a while.
My life is together.
Yeah, your life's not together. If you're 32 years old and you're not employed and you don't have a career or some independent way of earning a living.
Due to a back injury.
Madam, if you can enjoy the bedroom with a new boyfriend, you can get a job. So, I don't believe that you have established to my satisfaction that your daughter had you falsely arrested. In all probability, I think that you did, in fact, clobber her. And I'm not satisfied that the arrest was false. And there were a lot of other people in the house, so I don't think you're going to be able to establish to my satisfaction that she took property from the house when she left. Now, Ms. Vaughn, on the other hand, is counterclaiming for the assault. And I believe that your mother did, in fact, hit you over the head.
And also cut my arm.
I don't know about that. You may have cut your arm when you fell.
I didn't hit
Who
her
knows?
either.
I didn't fall.
I have no idea how that happened, neither do you.
It's
And
not
neither
in-
to me. I don't know how you got cut, Ms. Vaughn. In any event.
I know how I got cut, because she cut me.
Well, good. Okay, fine. In any event, I also don't think that you can establish to my satisfaction that she took any of your property while she was in jail by having these two children act on her behalf and take
It
property out
wasn't
of the
those
house.
two children. It was all 4 children,
Who knows?
plus
Who knows?
the other
Who
grown
knows?
child.
Who knows? You don't know that for a fact. You
I
are
do know that
speculating.
for a fact, because I was standing right there watching them half the time take the stuff out the house.
Oh, good. So tell me what you saw children take out of the house.
All of this, a lot of the stuff that she's claiming that I took out.
Just a second. Tell me what...
My property
Tell
came
me-
up
tell
missing
me.
when I was gone out of the house.
Okay. Ms. Vaughn, I think you are absolutely entitled to being compensated by your mother for all the aggravation she caused you by you living in the house without her permission, forcing her to take her children and put them elsewhere.
Without
And
permission
I'm
of
speaking.
What? Without permission
I'm
of what?
speaking. I think without living there without permission, you did not have her permission when she told you to move. And I believe she assaulted you. And I believe that you have to be compensated for that, for exactly what it's worth, for all the aggravation that your mother caused you. So I'm awarding you on your counterclaim the sum of $1. That's all.